How did you come to the coal miner's story in the first place?
I came to the coal miner's story. Was listening to NPR, and they were talking about this resurgent happening in the coal fields where rank-and-file coal miners were emerging to try to overtake the corrupt W.A. Tony Boyle and the other union people. And I just thought, this is so interesting. I want to go there. I knew nothing about coal mining. I knew nothing about the inner politics of Appalachia or anything like that. I was able to borrow $12,000, get a small crew, and off we went, and we filmed the whole Miners campaign, and then they won and they got in, and it was a terrific victory. And their first promise was to organize the unorganized, and that took me to Harlan County. And that was their first thing, and I wanted to see if they were really keeping their promise. And I remember the first night that I was there, I met with the organizers, and they said, well, Barbara, you're going to have a gun. And I never had a gun. I grew up in Scarsdale, New York. So I said, okay. And he opened this big case, and there were all these guns, and I picked a pretty pink gun. And I knew I would never use it, I didn't think. And then we went down to the picket lines the next morning, and the women wouldn't talk to us. And the women were the strong ones, and they were the ones that took over the picket lines, and they called themselves Martha Washington and, you know, different names. And then we said, well, can we come back to the picket line? And they said, yes, you can. And the next day we came back, but the road, it was raining, and the road was very slippery, and there was no guardrails, and our car flipped over, and so we crawled out of the car, carried all of our equipment, and Harlan County is very small, so they all knew what was happening. And there we were, and they embraced us. They took us into their homes, and that was what really started Harlan County for me.